Prime Minister, I have a BSF issue. That's a big issue. They want to capture the power. They want to bulldoze the federal structure.
দিন ধরে বিশেষ করে 2018 সাল থেকে সিপিএম কংগ্রেসকে দেখছেন, আপনারা বলুন তো এটা মাটি ময়দানে রয়েছে?
Everyone, you're watching News Epicentre with me, Maria Shakil. The battle lines are being drawn for the election season next year, which will set the tone for 2024. The tremors continue in the opposition camp, with the regional satraps losing faith in the Congress to take on the saffron juggernaut. But Mamata Banerjee has started a national expansion drive to power the opposition and edge out the struggling Congress, renewed by her stellar victory in Bengal this year, where she swept the state to clinch a thumping majority, defeating the full election might of the BJP. Mamata Banerjee has turned her attention to other poll-bound states from Tripura to Goa to take the fight to Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the national stage. But this is coming at the cost of the Congress. Top Congress leaders from former Mahila Congress Chief Sushmita Dev to former Goa Chief Minister Luisino Falero have joined the TMC camp. Even today, Kirti Azad from the Congress in Bihar and former Haryana Congress Chief Ashok Tanwar have thrown their weight behind the TMC. The Congress has accused the TMC of helping the BJP stay in power, while the TMC says the Congress must step aside, adding that it will not cower before the BJP like the Congress has since 2014. While Mamata Banerjee is in the national capital, she has not sought a meeting with Sonia Gandhi, and the freeze in ties is likely to affect the opposition strategy for the upcoming winter session of Parliament. Now, Mamata Banerjee may have the momentum and the energy, but she does not have the national setup that the Congress enjoys. But as faith in the Gandhis dwindle in the opposition, and even within the Congress party, is Mamata Banerjee now primed to give the Congress base a greater purpose under the TMC banner? Can Mamata become the nucleus of a united opposition, or is it still a long road for the West Bengal Chief Minister? Will she have to play ball with the Congress for the 2024 fight? Given the shifting dynamics of the opposition, who can truly lead a united force against the BJP on the national stage? Joining me on the show is Pawan Verma, now the member of the TMC, who joined the TMC only today, Tuhin Sinha, spokesperson of the BJP, Radhika Ramaseshan, consulting editor, Business Standard. We have Rashid Kidwai, author, Professor Om Prakash Mishra is TMC spokesperson. Pawan Verma, I'm going to begin with you. After 2 years, you have chosen the TMC as your next political move. It's a regional party of Bengal. You are from Bihar. Why TMC?
I think we have to look at the TMC both as it is currently, which is a regional party, largely regional party focused on West Bengal, and the potential latent in it and in its leader Mamata ji for morphing, transforming the TMC as it is from where it is currently into a national presence with a pan-Indian footprint. I believe that that is not only possible, but it is in the current circumstances desirable, because any democracy needs a strong, effective, credible, organized and strategic opposition.
Mr. Verma, in that case, are you saying that Sonia Gandhi-led Congress party doesn't have what it takes to take on Narendra Modi and the might of the BJP in 2024?
I believe that the nation has waited with considerable patience and hope for the Congress to meaningfully reorganize and revitalize itself. What the Congress does with itself is the business of the Congress party, but one thing is clear, that the nation today lacks a strong and effective opposition to hold the BJP accountable and answerable for its many policies and actions. I believe that Mamata Banerjee and the TMC are in a position to fill that void
Hmm.
which the Congress has volitionally or otherwise ceded.
Okay.
A nation,
Then,
a democracy as vibrant as ours needs a strong opposition,
so then in
which is
that case, are you
precisely
saying
why
that this is now a fight within the opposition as to who will really take on the BJP? But don't you think so, sir, given the fact that TMC is a regional party only of Bengal, which is looking at expanding its footprints, any plan of having a national agenda will take more than 5-6 years? Perhaps it is almost giving a signal that the opposition has perhaps understood that as far as 2024 is concerned, the BJP is returning to power, so they have to plan for 2029.
I don't agree with that at all, Maria. You will see how the transformation unfolds, and you will see in what manner the TMC, in its national avatar, gains from strength to strength. And I believe this change will be telescoped in much far shorter a time than you believe. I could be wrong. Democracy is a question of possibilities. And certainly to pursue a possibility in national interest is something which all political parties within a democracy have the choice to pursue.
All right. Professor Mr. Pavan Verma, thank you so much for joining us. Let me bring in other guests. Professor Mishra, Mamata Banerjee in July had met Sonia Gandhi, Arvind Kejriwal and other opposition leaders. She had said that she wants to help opposition bell the cat. Those were her words. And she spoke about opposition unity. Now the TMC is fighting with Aam Aadmi Party and Congress in multiple states. So what exactly are you doing?
We have a distinct approach, and the centerpiece of the approach is to collaborate and cooperate and build bridges across political spectrum against the might of BJP. And this is what the All India Trinamool Congress is committed to do. Political alignment and realignment, depending on the state, is ever is a possibility that is ever occurring. Shiv Sena left the BJP. Mr. Beniwal in Rajasthan has now left the BJP. Om Prakash Rajbharji has left the BJP in Uttar Pradesh, or for that matter, Akali Dal, they have withdrawn their support from the BJP-led government. So, BJP-led alliance that is also going through a lot of journey. So far as the Trinamool Congress is concerned and other opposition parties, we think that we are already engaged in building an agenda of issues. For example, the farmers' agitation. All the political parties we supported.
Professor Mishra, before I ask what do these leaders who have joined today bring on the TMC table, bring to the TMC table, let me get Rashid now on this question as to what really is happening between Sonia Gandhi and Mamata Banerjee. They gave a perfect photo opportunity last time around. What has gone wrong since then?
Maria, nothing has gone wrong. Every political party is entitled to strengthen itself. Every political activist has a right to, choose his or her career. And this is what is happening. This is not a flight of ideology. If you read the Congress Constitution, if you read Trinamool Congress Constitution, which I have read both and studied, can you tell me what are the 5 major differences between the TMC ideology and Congress ideology? That is, Rajiv Gandhi's photograph is there in Mamata Banerjee's place of work.
Exactly my point.
Rashid,
if there is no difference in ideology and they are jointly fighting the BJP, then what is the need of settling this dispute within themselves? My question is, TMC is a regional party. Then why is it growing at the cost of the Congress? While I understand Tripura, because
Maria,
Tripura
that's what
as
I'm
a
saying.
state,
Your premise is wrong.
One moment.
Each and every
Tripura
member of Trinamool has a past.
Yes,
a
Tripura
past in
as
the
a
Congress.
state is actually a sister of
of
Bengal.
Party.
But my question is, what does the TMC get in ensuring that somebody, these are Congress leaders from UP, Lalitesh Tripathi and his father. the TMC has not even registered a single party member in UP, and here it has Congress leaders joining TMC.
So there is nothing wrong in it. It is a legitimate political activity. In the past also, in 2011, 2012 also, TMC had tried its hands in Uttar Pradesh in few constituencies. They're within their rights. There's nothing wrong. This is very different from Congress person joining the BJP or a BJP person joining the Congress. That's a flight of ideology. Please try to understand.
I would say this is worse. What do you think, Radhika?
Ideology apart, the question really is the Congress in a position to become the fulcrum of an opposition? Well, for a long time, even I went along with the notion that it's the only other pan-Indian party apart from the BJP, which has a presence in most states. But now, if you look at the map of India, please seriously and realistically look at the regions where the Congress exists. I'm not even saying is strong, where it exists. Very few pockets. It's lost the entire turf in the Northeast, which is such a, which used to be a Congress stronghold. It doesn't really exist in the Hindi belt except in pockets. So the point is that even if the non-BJP parties want to anchor their fortunes on the Congress is not in a position to inspire confidence in any of them. I mean, they've waited since 2014. It's a long time, almost
But Radhika,
10 years.
if the Congress fails to inspire that confidence, then can Mamata Banerjee led TMC be that option or an alternative here?
Yeah, she's taking baby steps. It's a long haul, it's not going to happen overnight. But, what can potentially change the dynamics in the opposition is a surprise result in Uttar Pradesh, which doesn't seem very probable at the moment. But who knows? Elections can always have and can always bring surprises.
Okay.
If that happens, I'm not talking about Uttarakhand, I'm not talking about Punjab. UP is the mother of all elections. If there is a surprise, then wait and see. The opposition dynamics are going to change entirely.
Okay.
Then we will have to see what
Tuhin,
happens.
Jyotiraditya Scindia from Congress joined the BJP. Then you had another leader, Jitin Prasad, join the BJP. But look at other leaders who completely do not want to shift from center to the right. They have started moving towards the TMC. The BJP should be worried too. That if there is an exodus that is happening, it's not happening towards you.
What Mamata Banerjee is indulging in or doing is called indulgent, flagrant shopping, window shopping. But when that happens and you acquire things which have very little utility, any which way you're going to be bankrupt. And TMC is anyway intellectually bankrupt. From wherever they get their financial support, they will be financially bankrupt as well. But the larger point is all of it shows an absolute lack of confidence in the Congress party. The more nationalist-minded congressmen, are veering towards the BJP, but those who are anyway, pro-left or whose politics are anyway outdated are shifting to the regressive TMC. It does not affect the BJP in any way, because if you look at the larger opposition today, the opposition of India today is a grotesque conglomeration of self-aggrandizing entities, and they will eventually end up fighting with each other.
Okay.
There are states like Goa where they're already fighting with each other, and that will expand to more states eating into each other. So probably you will have somebody from AAP joining the TMC.
Professor Mishra, if it is about testing waters outside Bengal, you are doing so in Tripura in the upcoming local body elections on November 25th. Shouldn't you be waiting for elections and finally results in Goa before looking at perhaps a former Congress MP Ashok Tanwar from Haryana and Kirti Azad from Bihar, Pawan Verma from Bihar? I mean, what stakes do you have in a state which is highly casteist? The entire politics is driven by caste, say UP or Bihar.
Maria, I already gave you 4 examples of how political parties and important entities in Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh and of course Maharashtra, other places, they are teaching the BJP. Now, every political party, and in terms of the definition of a political party, must necessarily expand. And Trinamool Congress is going to do so, and we are doing it in with lot of substance. And as if you might like to add style as well. We are not a political party which actually has made a windfall out of the biggest scam of the century in the form of note money. BJP spokesperson was talking about money. Money power is with the BJP. But then we are going to fight them, whether it is Tripura or it is Goa or for that matter other parts of the country. You should take note of the fact BJP vote percentage in Bengal, which was about 38, 39% only 6 months back, in the two phases of the bypolls, their vote percentage has actually now reduced to about just 15%.
Tuhin, a quick response
so
from you.
Is quite organized.
Just
party.
by acquiring, I think it also, apart from the a complete failure of Congress, this indulgent acquisition also shows immense greed of the TMC to overnight become a national party. But for that, you'll require a vision, which unfortunately TMC does not have. And for a party which believes in celebrating a victory in a state assembly election with gang rapes and with violence, for a party which has always supported illegal migration of Bangladeshis into India, I don't think Mamata Banerjee has any place in national politics, which they will realize sooner than later.
Tuhin, Biplab Dev led Tripura government, the manner in which they are responding to a party which is just trying to enter the state in not assembly elections, but in local body elections, the manner in which they are responding, it clearly looks like that you are not taking them lightly. You are worried that perhaps a Bengal can be repeated.
In Tripura, we are responding to TMC's repeated police station, repeated violence and repeated provocation.
The lawyers have been attacked.
And some of our Karyakartas in Tripura maybe giving it back to TMC in a language which
and you have 35% of the seats have been elected, and of course BJP, how is that possible? You have made it possible through your martial power.
Okay.
Blatant misuse of the
Radhika and Rashid now. Radhika, I'm trying to understand when a party such as the TMC starts displaying its national ambition, every party has the right to do so. But the question here is that this is a party in opposition and it realizes that perhaps the Congress is not really fit to be that glue or the fulcrum of opposition unity. My question then is that shouldn't they be testing waters, ensuring victories and then moving ahead rather than spreading themselves too thin?
Well, she's established her victory in Bengal. She's emerged as a premier force in Bengal. Outside Bengal, okay, we will wait for the Tripura results to see exactly where she stands and what her forays in Tripura have yielded. Let us wait for Goa. I mean, Goa to me seems a very, very long shot. But at least she's trying. At least she has fire in her belly. I mean, let's commend her for that. And as for window shopping, come on. I mean, I have been covering the BJP for years. I have documented each and every instance of the kind of window shopping that the BJP has done. So let's not talk about X or Y window shopping here. All parties do that. It's par for the course to poach on the opposition and, spirit away their MLAs. I mean, that is one way of increasing your bench strength. But of course, you're right, the real test will be seen in the polls, for which we should wait. And Tripura, I think, would be a very good test case. If she fails in Tripura, then maybe she will have to revise her outlook, her strategy, because Tripura is generally seen as fertile ground for the TMC. Because let's not forget, there was a migration from the Congress to the TMC before the polls, and then some of those from the TMC went over to the BJP. Some of them have in fact returned to the TMC. So that, I think, will be the perfect test case for Mamata.
Okay. 30 seconds to both Om Prakash Mishra and Tuhin Sinha. I'm going to begin with you, Professor Mishra. Professor Mishra, while I understand Sushmita Dev, Mahila Congress chief, but what does former Congress MP Ashok Tanwar bring on the table, or even Kirti Azad for the TMC?
Ambassador Pawan Verma is here on the show. We all do know that what he can bring to the table, and to the extent that these personalities and former MPs, former Pradesh presidents they are most welcome because they are determined to fight the BJP. Even a BJP MLA in Tripura now has joined the Trinamool party, BJP MLA. And so therefore we are actually looking to expand wherever we can. And
Okay.
with the help of people, we are going to build up a cohesive, alliance of agendas against the BJP. Every other political party will be making their own distinct contribution.
Okay. Tuhin, you heard from
So, you know,
Radhika. She is saying that you should not be talking about window shopping as a party.
Tripura is a tiny state with 40 assembly constituencies. Even if the TMC wins 5 or 6 state assembly constituencies, which they are not in a position to win more than that, I don't think that enhances Mamata Banerjee's stature at the national level. The only thing which can enhance her stature is
in any case, Mr. Modi's stature is coming down. That is the point.
Victims of rape and
Mr. Modi's stature is coming down.
Which took place in the post-poll violence which took place. If she can ensure justice to the victims, that is
she
the only thing that will enhance her
violence
credentials at the national level. But she has been in denial. She does not even accept that the violence took place. So that is
why you are so much fearful of TMC?
Why will
you are so much
anybody accept
fearful
such
of
a party
TMC?
at the national level with
You are attacking every political party.
Do you think India will? Do you think
you are
India
attacking
will,
people inside the
to
police
witness the kind
station?
of violence?
What type of politics is that? You are a big political
There is no
party,
place for
and you are not in a
TMC
position to
at the
control
national
your
level.
gundas.
Whatever you
And you have
know the truth very soon.
And
Okay,
so
Rashid, how worried is the Congress party now, because it's certainly is losing that faith or confidence of other opposition parties. They feel that the Congress is failing them. It doesn't have the potential. It is really not that glue. How worried is the Congress party with this kind of ambition of Mamata Banerjee unfolding on the national scale?
Maria, this is election time, season of migratory birds. So these are all, habitual party hoppers which are going from one party to another, which is perfectly fine. The Congress has witnessed 48 splits. 16 times, I have documented all these things, 16 times the breakaway groups have come back. So Congress is not like Janata Party, where the breakaway groups like Samajwadi Party, JDU or, RJD have excelled, and the parent organization is nowhere in sight.
But Rashid,
let's wait for it.
One migratory bird has not returned, and multiple of them includes Mamata Banerjee and Sharad Pawar. They have in fact established themselves as parties that can take on the Congress. Their parentship.
Well, in Maharashtra, what has happened? They are allies. I am saying for the Lok Sabha election, the Congress has to cross 100 Lok Sabha seat, a very tough call. And the non-NDA opposition, that includes Mamata and others, they also have to cross 150 seats in order to defeat the BJP. There is no other scenario. Why are we reading too much into all this?
Because there are optics here, and everybody would be trying to understand what is Mamata Banerjee up to and why is Sonia Gandhi not meeting her in case an a meeting was indeed sought. Thank you so much for joining us, Rashid Kidwai, Radhika, Tuhin Sinha and Professor Mishra. And of course, this is a story which will be unfolding. We haven't seen the last or the first here in this battle which is happening, or the churning which is happening clearly in the opposition camp. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.